Hello everyone and welcome back to more Fantasy Live I. In today's video, we are yet again going to be taking a look at some of the house recipes. This time around, I'll be covering all 27 of the exclusive cook house recipes. In case you don't know what these house or request recipes are, I made a separate video covering how you can get all of those. But in today's video, I'll explain once again how you can get the house recipes specifically. You are limited to getting one house or request recipe each day, and every day a couple of events have the chance to occur. These events being one of your villagers giving you an item, one of your villagers teaching you an emote, and then one of your villagers giving you a house or a request recipe. I'll keep it pretty short this time around, so I'm just gonna show you what I do. Let's say you already got one of the house recipes or request recipes today. What you want to do is just enter any building. It doesn't matter if it's the guild office or one of the houses. Then you want to change your date and time. I've seen a couple of people actually say in the comments to show the date and time changing process, but it's literally just going to your system settings and changing your date. It's nothing more than that. So right over here, I don't do anything else. I just stay inside of this guild office. I don't close the game. I just go to my settings. I'm gonna change the date backwards, which is pretty important. Never time travel into the future in Fantasy Life I, because that will mess up your cash nut stalls over in Gynomosia. So always time travel into the past, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. Just gonna go one day into the past. All right, so just like that, I went one day into the past. I'm just gonna head outside, and we should be in a different real life day right now, which means that every real life day event has reset. So what you want to do first is walk around your little village and see if any of your buddies want to talk to you to give you either a new emote or want to give you like an item. That's one of the two things that can happen. Right now, I don't see any of my villagers actually out and about, so that's pretty good. I did forget to mention one thing. Actually, you want to make sure that all of these residents that you actually move inside of the houses, you want to make sure that all of them are of the combat or gathering life except for one of them. In this case, we're going for the cook house recipes, so one of these villagers needs to be of the cook life. All the other ones can't be any crafting life. They need to be a gathering or combat life. So anyways, I walked around the village. No one wanted to give me anything. I'm also not seeing any requests, which is something pretty important, because if your cook is actually having a request, you want to make sure to accept it and immediately abandon it, because if they have a request going, they can't actually be at their crafting table and give you a recipe. But let's test our luck right now. Just enter the cook's house over here, and we will see Chakpo at his crafting table. It is pretty simple. Just make sure you have only one cook on your island. All the other buddies should be of the gathering or combat life. Run around, make sure that none of your villagers are trying to teach you an emote or give you an item, and make sure that your crafter is not actually having a request for you. After that, you should just be able to enter their house, and if they're not crafting at the station immediately, you just need to sleep inside of the bed and sleep until morning or until night, and the guy should be right over here. So let's talk to Chakpo. He should give me the last recipe I need for this video, which is the creamy curry. After that, I should have all 27. Let's take a look and see if I was right. Yep, this is gonna be the creamy curry recipe. All right, pretty nice. With that out of the way, let's get to covering all of the different recipes, all 27 of them. Let's start things off with the Bandit Steak over here, which is gonna give you 20 attack for 30 seconds and heals you for 160 HP. Very easy recipe to make, it seems. You only need one beef, one broccoli, one black pepper, and one pine nuts. It's a pretty good early game dish probably, but once you get in the end game, plus 20 attack is not really gonna do a lot for you anymore. Up next, we have the Sardine Paté, which will give you plus 20 defense for 30 seconds and heals you for 110 HP. You will need 2 sardines and 1 palm nuts for this, so this is a very easily replenishable meal, I guess. I'm not really gonna talk about the ingredients being rare or not if the dish is not that good. Like, we'll probably have a ton of really good meals in this video, but the Sardine Paté is not really one of those. Plus 20 defense, yet again, doesn't really do that much anymore in the late game. The Swordfish Head, though, gives you plus 70 defense for 30 seconds and also heals you for 390 HP. You will need 1 swordfish, 1 sugar nuts, and 1 salt. The swordfish is a pretty rare material, or not necessarily rare, but it is kind of annoying having to clear out the swordfish boss every single time you want to make one of these meals. So plus 70 defense doesn't really justify that in my opinion. By the way, these are the base stats or base effects for all of these meals. If you make these in top quality, you will actually get healed more and get more of the appropriate status boost that this is giving. So for example, if you would make this swordfish head in top quality, you would get more than the 70 defense boost. You'd probably get something along the lines of plus 90 or 100 defense for, I don't know, 40 or 50 seconds if you make this top quality. So do keep that in mind with all of these meals. Let's go over to the golden fish head, which also gives you plus 70 defense for 30 seconds, and I believe this one heals you a little bit more than the normal swordfish. This one is going to heal you for 440 HP. You of course need the golden swordfish for this one, and 1 ginger and 1 salt. So pretty good. If you really want to make these fish head recipes, I recommend doing it with the normal swordfish because I think he's a little bit easier to get, and since they provide the same defense boost, that is really why you are making this meal. I'd say just go with the swordfish, but we'll probably come across some better defense boosting meals in this video, like the rainbow trout meuniere over here, which is gonna give you plus 100 defense for 30 seconds and also heals you for 630 HP. You will need the rainbow flying fish for this, 1 crimson carrot, 2 butter, and 1 faraway wheat. The crimson carrots are pretty easy to get. If you've done some like dark fire or mysterious slate farming in the treasure groves, you probably have, just like me, almost the capped out amount of crimson carrots that you can hold, but the rainbow flying fish is of course going to be a boss fish, so not that easy to get, but plus 100 defense is pretty nice. Up next, let's cover the swordfish meuniere, which will give you plus 70 defense for 30 seconds and also heals you for 370 HP. You'll need 1 swordfish, 1 crimson carrot, 2 butter, and 1 faraway wheat. Pretty similar recipe to the previous one, but this one just gives you 30 less defense. Let's go over to the Mountaineer's stew, which will give you 40 combat power for 30 seconds, recovers 80 SP, and heals you for 300 HP. So this is pretty cool. I believe combat power just means the amount of damage you'll be dealing, so that's quite nice. You'll need 2 Mysterio Carp, 1 green fish, 2 mushrooms, and 1 walnuts for this. It seems like you can buy all of these materials, so this is definitely a pretty good early game meal if you want to boost your attack. Then up next, we have a pretty good meal, I believe. The Sashimi Set will give you plus 70 gathering and crafting for 2 attempts. It also recovers 90 SP and heals you for 370 HP. So the SP is pretty nice if you are using this as a gathering meal. You need 1 Tropica Bream, 2 tuna, 1 Mysterio Koi, 2 flying fish, and 1 radish to make this meal. You can buy all of these ingredients, so this is actually definitely not a bad dish to make if you have this one. There's for sure better gathering and crafting meals, but if you don't have any better options, the Sashimi Set is not bad at all. 100% the 150 gathering fruit punch over here though. I covered this one in, I believe, my request recipes video. This is a fantastic meal. I don't know if it's the best gathering meal, but it's definitely out there. Anyways, let's go over to the flying sashimi set, which, hold on, actually gives you 150 gathering or crafting for 2 attempts. That is pretty insane. It also recovers 210 SP and 1420 HP. Okay, this is gonna be a crazy meal for sure, right? Yeah, over here you need the high flying fish, which I am pretty sure is a treasure grove exclusive fish. We also need the rainbow flying fish and the dunefin tuna, which is apparently something you need to get at your base camp. I don't even have this one yet. So you need 2 of these. You also need 2 cactus fish and 1 radishy leaf. Even though this meal is really good, it requiring a treasure grove exclusive material is not worth your time. At least not for now. Maybe in the future you are able to get way easier access to these high flying fish, but the fruit punch over here, for example, which has the same base gathering, only requires materials that you can literally buy every single one of, which is exactly why this is actually such a good meal. Anyways, let's go over to the fancy sashimi set, which is gonna provide you with the same effect as the previous thing we covered, plus 150 gathering and crafting for 2 attempts. It recovers 180 SP and heals you for 1070 HP, so that's a little bit less than before, or just the previous dish that we covered. And you yet again need a treasure grove exclusive material, which is gonna be the great lucky bream over here. You also need 1 golden swordfish, 2 radishy leaves, and 1 top class mushroom, which by the way is also not something you can buy. You need to go over to the treasure groves yet again, it looks like, to actually gather these. So I'm not really gonna recommend the fancy sashimi set. Over here, the ancient sashimi set is also gonna provide you with 150 gathering or crafting for 2 attempts. It will recover 180 SP and heals you for 1060 HP. You need 1 deep sea lordfish, 1 blue scale lordfish, and 2 radishy leaves, as well as 1 top class mushroom. So no treasure grove exclusive bosses, even though there are the treasure grove exclusive mushrooms. This meal might not be that bad to make. If you really need something for crafting, for example, if you need something for gathering, definitely just make the fruit punch. I'm definitely going to butcher this name, but the rainbow paella will give you 100 defense for 30 seconds, as well as heal you for 650 HP. You'll need 1 rainbow flying fish, 1 angelfish, 2 clownfish, 1 salt, and 1 red peppercorn to make this meal. You can buy all of these materials except for the rainbow flying fish, of course, but it does provide you with a pretty nice defense boost, so the rainbow paella might not be that bad of a meal. And then over here, the only recipe with a Q that I have, the Queen's Omelet, is going to give you 100 magic attack for 30 seconds. So I think this is the difference between the combat power boosts and the magic or physical attack boosts. I'm pretty sure combat just just gives you magic and physical attack both in one, and this one is only gonna give you magic attack, obviously. It also heals you for 560 HP. So let's see what we need over here. You will need 1 queen eggs, 1 pale onion, 1 smiley pumpkin, 1 extra creamy milk, and 1 butter. So even though they say that you can buy these smiley pumpkins over here, I'm pretty sure you are limited to a certain amount of these every single day, so you can't just keep buying an infinite amount of these. Same with the pale onion, I believe. But to be fair, if you are an active farmer constantly refilling your farm plots and harvesting them, you probably have quite a few of these materials. So the queen's omelet is not a bad meal if you want to boost your magic attack. Another dish that will boost your magic attack is going to be the forest quiche over here, boosting it by 40 for 30 seconds. It also heals you for 350 HP, and you will need 1 royal eggs, 1 truffle, 1 duffel, and 3 milk. So you can buy all of these materials. This is a pretty good early game meal if you want to boost your magic attack, but there are definitely better options available for the late game. The royal flan is going to give you plus 70 gathering for 2 attempts and also recovers 90 SP. You will need 1 big egg, 1 extra creamy milk, and 1 cherry honey, as well as 1 sugar. You can buy all of the ingredients over here, but every single gathering meal from now on that is lower than 150, which I think 150 is actually the cap that you can get as the base effect. I'm not really going to mention them being good anymore, because unless they are as good as the fruit punch, you should definitely just go for the fruit punch meal if you have that one. Up next we have the boiled veggies, which will give you plus 70 crafting for 2 attempts, as well as recovering you with 90 SP. You'll need 2 Gemini cabbages, 2 crimson carrots, 2 broccoli, 1 salt, and 1 red peppercorn to make this. So the Gemini cabbage is yet again something pretty rare that you can get by harvesting cabbages, of course, so I can't justify the plus 70 crafting boost to make this meal. Up next is a recipe that a lot of people have actually been asking about, and that is how to get the pumpkin pie. It only gives you plus 70 gathering for 2 attempts though, and you will need 2 gourdy pumpkins, 2 milk, 1 faraway wheat, and 2 butter to make this. I believe a lot of people are just asking about this recipe because one of the requests in the overworld, or in the past I should say, I think one of the requests actually requires this recipe or this meal, so I think that's why so many people are actually asking about this one. So right now you know how to get it. You just need to get the cook house recipes. Definitely don't recommend actually making this meal to eat for yourself though. The cabbage rolls will give you plus 20 crafting for 2 attempts and also recover you with 60 SP. You'll need 2 cabbages, 2 beef, 1 salt, and 1 black pepper to make this, so that means this is really easy to make. Plus 20 crafting though is definitely not a lot. The vegetable stew will give you 100 combat power for 30 seconds, as well as recover you with 90 SP and heals you for 450 HP. So the combat power is pretty nice. Let's see what we need. You will need 2 crimson carrots, 1 pale onion, 1 bushy potato, 2 broccolis, and 1 mustard. So yet again, the pale onion and bushy potato, or potato, excuse me, are gonna be pretty rare to get, but not that rare where I'm gonna say it's not worth making. I think this is actually a pretty good meal. Up next, we have the wheat juice, which will give you plus 20 gathering for 3 attempts. It also recovers 40 SP. You will need 2 faraway wheat, 1 ginger, and 1 sugar. Yet again, it's not as good as the fruit punch. The golden apple pie, which looks insanely tasty, will give you 100 gathering for 3 attempts, as well as recover you with 120 SP. You will need 2 golden apples, 1 remote island honey, 2 uber rich milk, and 1 faraway wheat to make this meal. The golden apple is not an easy material to get an infinite amount for, so I'm definitely not gonna recommend making this meal. Also because, as always, this is not as good as the fruit punch. Up next, let's cover the recipe that I got in this video. That's gonna be the creamy curry. It will give you 70 combat power for 30 seconds, as well as recover you with 90 SP and heal you for 360 HP. You'll need 1 star apple, 1 island banana, 1 faraway rice, 1 curry spices, and 1 tropica deep sea water to make this. You can buy all of these ingredients, so this is a pretty good meal to boost your combat power. The pumpkin flan will give you plus 20 gathering for 2 attempts and recovers you with 30 SP. You'll need 2 pumpkins, 2 chicken eggs, 2 milk, and 1 prairie honey. So a pretty easy meal to make, but it's definitely not as good as the fruit punch. I don't know how many times I mentioned the fruit punch in this video by now. The fruit punch, by the way, is a request recipe, so you can't actually get that from the cook live. You need to get that from the requests, so I definitely recommend checking out my request recipe video if you want to learn that recipe. I just have to mention it because all of these meals so far are just not as good as that one, if we're talking about the gathering boost, of course. Anyway, up next is the onion soup, which will give you plus 70 combat power for 30 seconds. It will also recover you with 100 SP and heal you for 380 HP. You'll need 2 dim onions, 2 muttons, and 1 pine nuts, 1 salt, and 1 red peppercorn to make this meal. The dim onion is yet again a pretty rare thing to get from the onion crop on your fields, so I think we've actually gotten better 70 combat power meals in this video. Definitely not a bad dish though. The lively Oden stew, One Piece fans out there, will give you 20 combat power for 30 seconds. It will also recover you with 50 SP and 200 HP. You'll need 1 raging radish, 1 hermit carrot, 1 dandy potato, 1 pine nuts, and 1 salt to make this meal. Definitely don't make this recipe. 20 combat power is not justified using all of these materials for. If there's one recipe in this video that I'm gonna mispronounce, it is definitely this one, the Bagna Cauda. It will give you 70 crafting for 2 attempts and recovers you with 100 SP. You'll need 2 broccoli, 2 carrots, 2 purple cabbage, 2 sardines, and 1 vinegar to make this. If it weren't for the purple cabbage, this would actually be a pretty decent meal, but yet again, the purple cabbage isn't really that rare, so you know what, I'm gonna say it. This is maybe a pretty good meal to boost your crafting. And then finally, the deep fried fish is gonna give you plus 100 defense for 30 seconds, as well as heal you for 600 HP. You'll need 2 smelt, 1 kissy fish, 2 green fish, 1 mungus radish, and 1 faraway wheat to make this meal. The mungus radish is yet again just a pretty rare thing that you can get from the radish crops, and apparently the smelt is actually a pretty rare fish to get. I thought this was gonna be for sure something you could just buy in a shop, but apparently you need to get this in the depths B3 or be lucky that the merchants in Ginormosia have these, so I don't think this defense boosting meal is actually worth going for. So yeah, with that, lovely Chakpo is cutting absolutely nothing in the background, and that's gonna be it for all the cook house recipes. I hope I was able to help you guys out a little bit at least. So as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more stuff just like this, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Not even 5% of the people watching my videos are actually subscribed, so I would appreciate it a lot if you would do so. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one right later. Bye.